All right, the first story here, this is in Michigan. So 2 years ago, March of 2020, what happened was a guy took his Jeep in to get the oil changed, and these two guys are doing the oil change, and one of them gets behind the wheel to move the Jeep, and he doesn't know how to drive a stick shift, so the car lurches forward and pins the guy into a cabinet, his employee. Mm-hmm. That guy dies.
Wow.
Yeah. So 2 years later...
Well, hold on.
Yeah, that's a COVID death.
We all have to go. And you could be stabbed by a hobo, you could be claimed by cancer, you could die of syphilis or hepatitis C. So if I had to go, I think being pinned by a Jeep would probably be the way I'd like to go.
Yeah.
It's a dignified way to go.
I think so. There, definitely way worse ways to go. So
he dies.
He dies.
They couldn't fucking roll the Jeep. He just dropped the clutch and okay.
Lurch forward. Didn't know address.
Didn't that other kid get pinned against the gate in his Jeep Cherokee?
That Russian actor.
Yeah, there's an actor that they were having trouble when they put it in park, and then he went in front and then got pinned by the Jeep.
That's how he died?
Yeah, that's how he died. He at his house. Yeah, I think it was a Jeep.
He was a Jeep. It was an automatic Jeep, I think, this guy's.
And he got pinned, but he was alone, so he just died slowly as the thing...
That's the way I'd like to die, slowly underneath a Cherokee.
Well, the family of this guy who died is trying to figure out who do we sue. And, I mean, you have a choice. You could sue the employee who can't drive stick.
Well, here's how suing works.
Yeah.
The employee who can't drive a stick makes $14 an hour and has 3 kids and owes a baby mama a bunch of back child support. He's what we call an empty bag. So then you have to go to the dealership or whoever, Muncie, who manufactures the transmissions on the Jeep. You have to, it's not about finding out who's at fault. It's finding out who has money, who you can build a thread to and sue that person. That's how suing works. You can't sue the person that's at fault. Everyone who's at fault is always an empty bag. It's always just a low-level employee. You know, the guy who fucks up running the roller coaster, that guy gets $13 an hour. The guys who manufacture the roller coaster parts, who had nothing to do with it, those are the guys you sue when you sue. So that's my prediction.
Well, there's some Michigan laws that kind of get in the way of who this family can sue. And there's only one person they can sue. So it's not the employee, and it's not the dealership. It's the guy who owns the car. So this guy who's just waiting in the lobby for his oil change is now on the hook for millions of dollars because the Michigan law is that whoever owns the car is responsible for whatever happens. So if like you give your keys to the valet and that guy runs over a pedestrian, that's your fault in Michigan.
Wow. Motor City, indeed. They're serious about their car ownership there.
Yeah. So an injured coworker can't sue the boss because of the boss's negligence. In this case, the boss is negligent because they hired somebody who didn't know how to drive stick.
Right.
And didn't even have a driver's license.
Oh.
Yeah. The law is if you let your friend drive your car and they hit someone, they should be suing you and your insurance.
Right. So the guy who owned the car, who's getting the oil change, who gave the keys to the guy, is getting sued.
Yeah. So, and his choice, though, is he's trying now to sue the dealership for getting sued. So, yeah, it's just a weird circle of life there.
Yeah. Kuna Matsua.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of getting hit by a car, we got a nice Florida story for you.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So authorities are investigating after a sheriff's deputy on patrol drove over a 23-year-old woman Wednesday afternoon while she was sunbathing. So you're always complaining about what you can and can't do on the beach. Well, in Florida, you could drive your SUVs, especially if you're the cops driving on the sand.
Yeah.
So allegedly, what happened was the officer got a dispatch call and was distracted. He's patrolling St. Pete Beach. He made a right turn and drove over the woman who was lying in the sand. The front tire hit the victim into the mid to upper back area. She was rushed to a hospital with non-life-threatening injuries.
So she made it.
Oh, yeah, she made it. She's going to sue. So,
If you're gonna get run over by a vehicle, on the sand is where you want to be.
Yeah, of all the places, sand or like a mattress store or something.
Yeah. You want to be testing a mattress out with the memory foam if an
Don't need a
off-road
bounce
vehicle.
house.
Right. But you don't want to be at the airport on the terrazzo. That's a hard surface.
Yeah.
Right.
Unforgiving.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. You want to be able to sink into that sand. Did she spill her spiked seltzer? Because if she didn't, that woman's a fucking keeper.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I wonder if she
unclear.
was asleep.
I mean, she must have been, or at least she was face down if she was ran over her upper back area.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
she didn't know it was coming. I wonder if that SUV was electric. You're not even making a sound as it's coming by you.
Do chicks still do the unstrap the top, lay on their belly, sort of weird dance just
I hope
to
so.
give guys boners around them? Is that
My
a
God.
thing? You know what I mean? Like, remember that? Like, remember when you were younger, the chicks on the beach, they'd be wearing their bikinis, and then at some point they'd go, oh, now I'm going to roll over, but I don't want a tan line, which really only represents about 3/8 of an inch going from one
Yeah.
shoulder to the next. Is that really intrusive? Like, whoever fucking sees that? Who would see that? Like, why do we have to go through this elaborate ballet to get rid of that tan line? You're only doing it to give guys around you a boner.
Right.
Because
100%.
they undo it, and then they hold it.
They know what
and
they're doing.
Then they lay down. Then it comes time to get up, and they do the thing. And then at some point, they ask one of their friends, hey, about 20 minutes in, you announce you're making a snack shack run, and you say something to me. And then I'll sit up and hold it and give everyone a boner around me. And then we'll talk, and then I'll lay down again, holding the sides up. All for what? One single stripe that's 5/16 across, going across your fucking back. Only your fucking husband or boyfriend or whoever's banging you doggy style will be the only one that's privy to that white stripe. What's with the
And it's-
ballet? You're fucking
not-
with us.
It's not like it's the scarlet letter. It indicates you were out in the sun in
Right.
a bikini.
Right.
Yeah.
And the tan lines are good in the front, right?
Yeah.
Right. So what's with the ballet in the back? I don't think chicks do that anymore. Do they still do it?
Yeah, I
You
think
guys
they
do that?
still do it, but I mean, I think we're all okay with tan lines here, right? You
Yeah.
guys- yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, let's be okay with that. And yeah, as Brian said, it's an indicator. It means you put in the work.
That's right.
All right. Well, if I do a Florida story, I got to do a Germany story next.
All right.
And do you know what stealthing is, Adam?
No.
The act of
it's
stealthing.
a hell of a movie, that movie about a stealth fighter or bomber or whatever it was.
That was Broken Arrow.
Oh, it was Broken Arrow. They were in a stealth. There was also a movie called Stealth, too. I don't know. Stealth, like it's a, God, is it like when
19.
you're dating someone on an app, but you're following them, but they don't know you're following them, or something like that?
Well, it's close. So stealthing is the act of a guy when he's making love to a woman with a condom. He secretly, while having sex, takes the condom off and continues stealthing. It is sexual assault, everybody. So do not do that. Disclaimer. But there's a thing that women can do that's also similar. German women.
Wait, so it's when you're having sex with the condom on,
Yeah.
and then you,
And you sneak out, you pull the condom off, and you return
but where are
to
you
the
going?
action. I mean,
But how's this work? Like, it's not going to work. Like, I got to feed the meter. Is the Chick-fil-A open till 10? Like, where are you going with your boner and your condom?
oh no, you go back to having sex. She doesn't know.
midstream.
I know, but where are you going? You're having sex with
What?
the condom?
Yeah.
And then you switch positions?
Yeah.
Like, you're like, I want to see that tan line on your back, bitch. Let me just move around. That's when the condom gets ejected?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
question, I don't have a vagina anymore, but
Right.
can the girl not feel the difference instantly between the rubber and the nut?
Ladies? It depends how wet you are. Well, there you go. Thank you. Where'd you go to finishing school? But so what you are? Your snatch is all fucking lubed up. Gotta go at you with a fucking bowling pin, raw dog. You don't feel shit, man.
Tomorrow that girl will be like, hey, all my friends, I'm on a podcast. Listen up.
I was wet enough for an oscillating spindle sander, 60 grit. Didn't fucking feel shit. You guys know an oscillating spindle sander. Ever seen it? Fucking look that shit up when you get home. You have a fucking good laugh. All right, so it's called stealthing.
It's called stealthing. But a German woman was sentenced to 6 months in prison for the female version of that.
Oh.
So she was in a friends with benefits relationship with a dude, and she was secretly poking holes in the partner's condom.
Oh.
Yeah, because she's trying to get pregnant. She wants this guy's baby, his seed. And she ends up texting him because she thought she got pregnant. It's like, hey, I've been poking holes in the condoms, and I'm pregnant.
Hold on a second. Poking holes in a condom. Do you do that with a paper punch? Do you do it? But do you do it with like a sharpened chopstick? Do you do it with a pin? I feel like if you do a pin, it might be like sort of self-sealing. What do you poke a hole in a condom with? You know what I mean?
That's unclear, but the hole punch seems like the most effective.
But also, it did give away.
But also, when the guy puts the condom on and feels a draft, don't you feel like... You guys ever broke a condom? I've had sex a million years ago with a condom, and it was like the first time I used it, and I was like, man, I don't know what everyone's complaining about. It was like taking a shower with a raincoat on. I was like, this feels pretty fucking good. And when I was done, I noticed I was just wearing it around my balls. Like it broke early. I probably kept it in my wallet for 11 years. I probably had a chance. Moth flew out of it when I opened it up. But I remember going like, hey, this feels good. Like, what's everyone complaining about? But it broke.
Yeah.
You blew a hole in thing.
Yeah.
So she texts the guy saying, hey, I've been poking holes in the condom. I could be pregnant. And the guy responds by filing a criminal charge against her.
Wow.
She was initially faced with charges of rape, later reduced to sexual assault. But Germany, there you go.
Is that really? I don't feel like that it rises to the level of rape because he got the boner, he put the condom on, he had sex with you.
Yeah.
So I don't really think that would be rape. But
Well, then you and the judge are simpatico.
yes, we're simpatico. So, but she poked holes again. I don't know how it goes. I do know our friend Drake puts the hot sauce, in the condoms, and I don't know, flush the shit down the toilet. You really need to have essentially travel with that many accoutrements, you know. Oh, and that could be what Hillary Clinton does too, because she travels with the Tabasco.
She loves her hot
So
sauce.
it's like when Bill is with one of his whores, she probably runs into the bathroom and like, or she puts it on scrambled eggs. I don't know. We'll never know. That's the point.
Let's do a Dave Chappelle update here. So we all know that he was attacked at the Hollywood Bowl when he was performing.
Yeah.
And the team tackled the attacker, and they broke his arm. Well, Kevin Hart went on Kimmel to talk about it. And he said somebody ran on stage and got their ass whooped. Not scary. It's one of those things that needed to happen. Do you want people to continue to think that they can just cross that line and break the barrier of entertainer and audience? Somebody getting their ass whooped sends a message out to the other people that was like, I was thinking about doing that, but after seeing that, I don't really want to do that. So Kevin Hart loves that guy got his ass kicked because it sends a message.
Right. But most comedians are just traveling, working comedians without a posse. You know what I mean? Like, I don't...
You got Chris?
Yeah, so if this guy
Try
charged the stage about minute 18 of him sodomizing me, Mike would look up from his computer, look back down, check his USFL games to see what the over-under was, and at some point make his way to the stage, offer you a beer, and then go back and sit down again. This is great. Yeah,
Yeah.
if you have Jamie Foxx and Ja Rule or whoever the
Busta
fuck
Rhymes.
is standing, Buster Rhymes, but all standing, if you have all your fucking security guys back there, then so be it. But
Yeah.
it doesn't work well for your basic low-life comedian who's just rolling into town and up on stage alone. Although you fuck with me, and I'll walk up to you and go, hey, man, I didn't want any trouble. I just want to introduce myself. My name is Art Fuss. Well, my son hated that shit the first 22 times I did it, but now he kind of looks forward to it. I think
He's
I
warming
gotta
up.
believe it.
Well, Isaiah Lee, the attacker, he entered a not guilty plea, and his bail was set at $30,000. He had a sling and a bandaged arm during his court appearance. The judge also ordered that Lee has to stay 100 yards away from Chappelle's residence, as well as any place he's performing, and also from the Hollywood Bowl.
Why not just make it a mile?
Yeah.
You really have to go 100 yards?
Yeah.
And by the way, this guy's a brother.
Yeah.
There's a lot of brothers out there that can cover 100 yards in 9.7 seconds. So essentially, when you're talking to a fit black man, you're saying, you must stay about 9.5 seconds away from the person you assaulted. Now, that doesn't sound the same, does it?
No.
But
On
they can
foot.
cover ground in a real
Yeah.
short period of time. This guy played ball, obviously. He fucking got up on stage, launched himself, textbook tackle. I mean, this guy's like the fucking honey badger. 100 yards, 9.7 seconds away from being attacked. Doesn't sound too comforting if you're the victim, does
Yeah.
it? Now, not all black people can cover 100 in 9.7 seconds. Some are into the high 10s, even low 11s. But that's still not a lot of lead time if you were attacked by this guy. This guy got up on stage and covered 35 feet in 1.7 seconds. He's a fucking gamer.
Yeah. Yeah. And 100 yards, that you spend your whole life running that amount, so you know exactly how fast you can
Well,
get there.
what if Ronaldo Nehemiah, I'm trying to think of a sprinter, or what's his name?
Usain Bolt.
Yeah, Usain Bolt. All right. What if that guy hated your guts and he wanted to put his fucking hands on you?
Go on.
And you saw him and he's like, oh, he's 100 yards away. And you started running. You wouldn't make it to one fucking stoplight before he was on your ass.
Yeah.
So evidently, look, if you're white and fat and dumpy and you got a bad wheel, you got shin splints or fucking fused vertebrae or some shit like that, 100 yards might do it.
Yeah.
This guy's a fucking 26-year-old athlete who played some junior college ball. I saw the way. That was a textbook tackle.
Yeah, judges should have to get their combine score.
They should.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This guy put up 220 41 times. His vertical was 39 inches. This guy, fucking 100 yards. That's fucking nothing for this guy. He'll do the fucking karaoke 100 fucking yards. Yeah. I don't know why it was the karaoke before it was the karaoke, but yeah, so he's gonna.
Yeah, it's too short.
Let's just we couldn't make it a quarter mile or 500 feet. No,
Yeah.
gotta be 100 yards.
Yeah. All right, well, let's move on to this one. So,
And then how enforced is it? I mean, I get Chappelle's house. We're all more than 100 yards from Chappelle's house, but
yeah.
what if Chappelle is playing, the Greek theater, and then you're just down the street eating at some bistro, and you're technically, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think it's that well enforced.
What if
I
he
don't
does
think
a
so.
Zoom show and he's on everyone's phone everywhere and you can't get away? Yeah,
Brian brings up a very retarded point. Zoom show, you're right.
Yeah, virtually.
Judge has to think about it. Now, look, we have to factor in the athleticism and the ethnicity of. Well, we do. I don't want to do it. Well, we have to, obviously, of the assailant.
Yeah, the ability.
It just makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do one more.
Okay, so in January, I don't know if you guys heard about this story where a handyman, he suffered from heart failure, so the University of Maryland gave him an experimental surgery where they transplanted a genetically modified pig's heart into his. So he died.
Oh, that would have been a good movie.
Yeah.
He would like come out of the hospital and like, who's hiding truffles?
He starts digging.
Somebody's hiding truffles. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah,
He died.
Yeah, shortly after the surgery, he died in March. The hospital simply said his condition had worsened over the span of a few days, but they didn't provide an exact cause of death. But now they looked into it, and there was a pig virus in the heart. He died of a pig virus.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it sucks because that was a huge leap in medicine. We're going to get animal hearts transplanted into us, but
Yeah.
big step back now.
Well, see what happens when you play God? Only God can masquerade as God.
Only God can play God.
Us mortals can't play God. But and let's not, look, I'm a carpenter. Calling a carpenter a handyman is like calling a doctor a chiropractor. They don't like that shit. You know, it's like an orthopedic surgeon doesn't want to be called. The guy's gone. A chef, a cook. Let's just call him a deceased carpenter. He doesn't want handyman. Handyman is like hobo light. Handyman is like you have no discernible skills, so you'll be a master of none, and one day you'll be fixing a fence and then a toaster, and you're doing all the shit you do is with duct tape. You don't want to be a handyman. You want to be a carpenter. So let's just call him.
We're going to call him a carpenter, guys. Is that right with you?
Right.
All right, give it up for the
right.
carpenter. And if you had to get an animal's heart and you obtain their tendencies, which animal would you want then?
Oh, I love the movie Red Dawn, so I'd have to go Wolverine.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's the noblest of all the animals. The Wolverine, maybe the aforementioned honey badger. I think that's a pretty good one. I don't think octopus. I'm not sure if that
underwater,
one would work, but yeah,
ass.
octopus might be good. Although I wouldn't want someone to go full calamari on my ass. So I don't know if that's squid. I'm still unclear what the difference between the two are. What would you go, Brian? You go squid, octopus?
Yeah, breathe
you
underwater.
Go octopus.
Breathe underwater, 8 arms, and then black ink out of my ass.
Yeah. Is squid and octopus black ink out of the ass?
I don't think squid. Well,
Squid ink. They call it squid ink,
That's
right?
a good point. That's a good point.
And by the way, there's nothing worse than when someone goes full seafood and they do the squid ink in with the fucking shit. It doesn't add anything. It freaks me out.
I don't want my food black, like just pitch black. It's weird.
Right. Yeah. It's weird. It's off-putting, and there's no fucking reason for it. And then I have to like try to do these machinations where I'm like, where did you get squid ink? And did you squeeze a squid? Did you put it in one of those things you used to get lemon juice out of a half lemon? And now they're squid. And by the way, I don't know, we call it squid ink. It could be squid cum, squid snot. It could be squid piss. It's just something that shoots out of a fucking squid that we as human beings have labeled as ink because we invented ink.
Because it looks like
You
ink.
talk to a fucking squid, he could be like, oh, I busted a fucking nut all over the forehead of my... And you're like, you mean of ink? No, you call it ink. We don't fucking have ink. That's your fucking term. We call it squid cum. And you fucking just put it in your pasta? All right. Now that makes you gay.
Yeah, everyone just eats it. Yeah.
And he's pushing a shopping cart filled with shit on the side of PCH, and he motors right past me. I'm like a fucking junkie with a laden shopping cart, high on fentanyl, with one flip-flop, is making better time than you to LAX. That's what's happening right now.